Good evening, dear students and faculty present here. This is a series of lecture on how to maximize your soft skills to improve your individual performance and to continue with the talk that we had last week. Today again we have with us Dr. Vidyaa Hari, who is going to talk on time management. So may I now invite Dr. Vidyaa Hari to take over and then deliver her talk on time management, please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shankaran. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So good evening, friends, and welcome to another session with IDP of TANUVAS. I'm sure all of us know each other, and there is no need of any formal invitation or introduction right now, right? So what I would like to say is many a times, people have asked me, how do you manage time? And you're doing so many things at the same time. How is it that you're able to do it? And giving your best in everything, that is also another important thing, right? And last but not the least, they say like, do you have 25 hours in a day? So that's another question people ask me. So I just thought, I'm going to share a bit of my life, probably which I've been following for more than, what should I say, quarter of a century. So I could say about 25 years. To be very exact, I should say 26 years, right? So I have been following whatever I'm going to share with you today. I've been following it for the last 26 odd years. And it has given me very, very, very good results. And today, as I always say, it is up to us how we can design and, decide how our life is going to be from today onwards, at least. And this series of, lectures is very, very, very important. Now, why do I say so? It is because of a very important thing that many a times people, all of us for that matter, we get into some course or the other, right? Might be professional, might be just, a kind of a general course. But then what happens is after we join the course, it so happens that, only few of us are able to do very well, whereas the others are not. So we need to know how to actually, get going and how to make it happen for ourselves. So that is a very, very, very important aspect. Now, coming to understand that, how to maximize. So that is when people understand that, when you have your personal skills, and then you have your people skills. So many a times it's understood that your people skill is very important. And that is when you're able to march a step forward in life. So you should know how to handle your time. You should know how you have to handle people who come into your life. It might be your juniors. It might be your seniors at work. It might be people when you go to work, your boss. It might be your workers, if you're arranging or if you're a part of an organization and there are many people working under you, then you have to manage workers. So until and unless you have this soft skills or people skills, you will never begin life. So many a times, especially professionals, we are almost like, like a horse. We just look into our education, we just study, and then we are full of marks. Sometimes people call us nerd also. And then what happens is people think that, oh my God, am I going to make it in life, right? And after all these hurdles, you get into a professional course, you study for 5 or 5.5 years. And after that, again, you're going to study for a PG and then super specialty. So when you actually understand, it becomes a point where you don't know how to talk to other people other than the people in your profession. So since this program is specifically for, with the veterinary college students, I thought all of us, whether being a dentist or anybody, we all need to understand soft skills. And today's topic is a very game changer. And I'm saying this with a purpose because, we all need to understand what is time management. So before I go ahead with today's presentation, a small disclaimer, today is not going to be a kind of just me talking, but it is going to be a lot of, mind pondering and thought-provoking statements which I'm going to make. So I would encourage all of you to have a piece of paper. I would prefer a book, a notebook, because this is going to be your roadmap to success. And along with a paper, obviously a pen, and you write down things or like homework or assignments which you want to do it. And it is not that you have to report it to me, but then when you report it to yourself after a period of time, you'll understand that, this today's lecture made a lot of difference. So with those few words, I'm going to start sharing my screen right now. And I'm sure you're all going to have a whale of time in understanding what exactly is time management. So I hope all of you are able to see my screen so far. What a beautiful brochure, right? Awesome. So time management, I mean, it's so very important for all of us to understand that time and tide waits for no man. And many a times, when you ask students, they say, if you want to know the value of a time, you ask a student who has lost a year, right? So it is so very important that we manage our time so well that we don't, as students, we don't have to lose any year. So do we really need to manage time? If this is a question which is pondering your head, the answer is you need to really think, should I manage time? That's not the actual question, because all of us are going to have the same amount of time. It is going to be 24 hours a day. But then how are we going to manage ourselves in those 24 hours? So time management is actually self-management. It is how I am going to prioritize my day or prioritize my activities in a day so that I can make the best of my day. Next is, do we need to prioritize what we do daily? The answer is a very big yes, right? Otherwise, it is like, a story where you have a jar and then you have big pebbles, small pebbles, sand and water. If I first fill water, then I won't have place for anything. Everything will be overflowing. But if I put the big pebbles and then the small pebbles and then the sand, then the water, the small pebbles will go into those small areas where the big pebbles have some space. And the sand will go into other small minute area where the big and the small pebbles have some space. And the water will just come and fill up everything. So that way, you need to know which are the big chunk of works you have in a day. And you have to prioritize for that. And then the smaller chunks of work. And then the little ones. And then just the water, which means the summing up of your day. How do we practice self-management? I'm sure today's lecture is going to help you understand much more when I'm going to really dissect all the aspects of time management. What are your goals or our goals in life? Now, this is something we need to sit and write. Many a times when we talk about goals, people really don't understand. It's more of a wishful thinking. It is like, oh, I wish I had that. Oh, I wish I had this. It is never that people are really serious in understanding what they really want in life. And we need to really understand that we have to start with the end in mind. Somebody's audio is on. I would request you to kindly switch off your audio. So when you have those kind of, a roadmap to what you want in life, it makes it very easy for you to find your pathway to that. And have you written down your yearly, monthly, weekly, daily, and hourly goals? This is again a very, very important aspect of your life. So I'm sure all of you must be thinking about all these points. Now, as you think, I'm going to take you to the presentation. So as Henry David said, it's not enough to be busy. The question is, what are we busy about? Many a times you ask anybody for that matter, they'll say, oh, I'm very busy. Oh, I'm very busy. This is what they would say. Now, the next question I have for them is, what are you busy about? And then they would say, I did this and that. And then I asked them, was it constructive? Was it productive? Or was it just to see that you're busy? And then they say, oh, what was the difference between the three? I didn't know it. So productive means, is it taking you towards a bigger purpose in your life? Active is just to, say that you're just doing something. So you must be very goal focused and understanding how you want to invest your 24 hours. Next is to understand your time stealers. Now, this is again a very, very important aspect. So when you ask about time stealers, many a times people will ask you, what do you do? And then you might say, oh, I just wanted to relax and probably I was watching the TV and things like that. Now, do you understand a television is actually a time stealer? Sometimes people say, I just browsed the net. That's again a time stealer. So when people ask you to do some work, what is it on this board that is your most common answer? In the future, later, someday soon, in a moment, maybe never, eventually, tomorrow, soon, next month, next week, shortly, in a couple of days. If this is your answer, then mind it, my dear friends, you're doing something called procrastination. You will never understand the value of time. If you're going to grab the opportunity which is thrown in front of you, that is when you can really make things happen. So what are the time stealers? Time stealers are things which you just waste your time. You're not doing anything productive. Not knowing what to do is another time stealer. You must be thinking how to go about doing it. If you have any such doubts, you should ask somebody who has done it. Poor motivation. You don't feel like doing it. That is another thing. Next is interruptions by people or phone. You might be working and suddenly you'll get a phone call or a message and you're tempted to see that. One kinking in your message box, and then you're like, let me just look at that. Just test that message and then I'll come back to work. That's what your mind is saying. But then when you look at one message, you will go to the other thing and then another one and then the other one. And then that's it. You've lost half an hour. So that is a time stealer. Taking too long to perfect your work. Many people say, oh, I love to do it in perfection. I don't like to do it halfway through. But then if you realize when you start, it is like half done, because that starting trouble is what people have. And sometimes when people are not there, you will have to add up your work by doing somebody else's work. Now that is again a concern. And meetings sometimes running longer than expected and not prioritizing work. These are again things which we need to understand. So as I told you, procrastination is the foundation of all disasters. It's not a procrastinator who actually thinks about, that he's actually postponing things. So they generally say, I'm not a procrastinator. I'm just extremely productive at unimportant things. I told you about the pebble, right? So when you start putting the bigger pebbles, then only you will know what else is left. But if you're just filling it up with water and waiting for your own sweet time, nothing really happens. Procrastinate now and panic later. These are so important that if you're going to start procrastinating, you will definitely panic later. So how do you manage time? You first understand what all the other tasks, and then what to-do list should be there. You have your own priority. You have a kind of a project, how you're going to work it happen, and then you plan, and then you achieve it, and you feel proud of yourself for doing so. So how do you design your life? So this is what we are going to talk about. So your future is created by what you do today, not tomorrow. So every day, wake up and then, what they say, carpe diem. Just storm the day with whatever you have to do. Do it now. Sometimes later becomes never. So whatever it is, do it now. I don't know if you know a song with the same words. And do it right, and do it right now. That is how what Spencer said. And this is again very important. It is not like you will do anything and then you want to do it wrong. That's not the way. Try to do your best and do it right now. That is the most important thing. Let me share with you some secrets of time management. First is managing of your priorities. Now, how do I set priorities? So what you do is, before you go to bed in the night, for the next day, whatever work you have, you make a note of it. And then you put a 1, 2, 3, 4 score. 1 means it's top priority. 2 means next in line. 3 means after that. And 4 means it can wait. So once you put all that together, then it becomes easy. So then put all your 1s together, all your 2s together, all your 3s and all your 4s together. It becomes easy for you to manage your priorities. Next is, invest very little time of yours for your non-priorities. So once you actually write down your priorities, say how much time would you take for that? I generally used to do that when I used to study for my exam. So I will take up my textbook and say, okay, this chapter I might need about 2 hours, and this one I might need about 3, 4 hours, and then like that. So I will take the bigger chapters first and first finish that. I will time it and finish it in that time. Now, if I have not finished it in that time, I leave the chapter there and go to the next chapter. Otherwise, I would have just wasted time. The more I think about, oh, I have not finished the chapter, will actually increase the stress levels. So once you finish this way, at the end of the day, you would have done much more than if you had just sat down with that one chapter and sat through the whole day. Next is incentives for best performers. So you can give yourself a kind of an incentive. I generally treat myself. I say, okay, Vidya, if you're going to do 30 days, if you're picked, then, I shall get you an ice cream. I talk to myself and I say, okay, let me do it that way. So you can reward yourself and pre-plan on your priorities and task distribution. Now, there are some jobs which you can delegate. Now, if it is that's, then you can give it to somebody. But then if those are the things which you need to do, then you need to do. I'm not talking about giving your record books to your mother or, your sister for them to do it for you. That's not what I meant. What I meant is, certain things which it can be done even without you. Next is skillful team for the task. So whenever we have to collaborate and work, then give whatever best they are in working so that it makes more sense. Then is being proactive. Be a little self-motivated. I don't wait for somebody to push you to get the job done. Nobody should nag you. How do I put this? Now, suppose if you have some homework to do, or maybe your mom has told you to go buy vegetables. And then you're saying, I'll go in 1 hour, I'll go. And then after 1 hour, again, your mother's coming in saying, you've not gone to buy the vegetables yet. Amma, I'm going, things like that. So when the job is set, or when you know there is a need for the vegetables, just go get it done, finish the job, tick it off your list. I think that makes it more sensible. And being proactive means being ready to do it. Don't always have a lazy bone on yourself. Next is elimination of the non-priorities. And that is, again, a very important thing. Time management skills also, the main factors also includes being prioritizing, scheduling the time, as I told you, keep a to-do list, always have even time for resting, and then delegating, as I told you. Now, when people say resting, how do I rest? If people ask me, I rest by doing the sand work. You remember, I told you the big pebbles, the small pebbles, the sand and the water. So my relaxing would be that small, the sand work. Now, what are the sand work for me? Maybe WhatsApping, maybe, answering some mails or something. So I know they are the small work, but then they are my breathers. So when I say resting, it means something away from that heavy work you're doing. The big pebbles are generally the heavy work, which means, you need a lot of concentration. You need to really give in your best. These sand is like, it's okay. Now, instead of writing Y-O-U-R, I can still get away with writing U-R. That is the sand work, which means the finesse is not important. But in the big pebbles, My fitness is important. My skill is important. So, as Benjamin Franklin said, when you're failing to plan, you're planning to fail. So you need to understand how and why are you actually planning. Now, when you are not having a schedule like this, you'll get up in the morning, whatever time, you'll take your own sweet time to do whatever you're doing. And then at the end of the day, you will not have a kind of a satisfied feeling. Because of that, you will probably not sleep properly in the night. And then when you get up in the morning, again, you're not very, pumped up to charge the day. You'll always feel, oh, can I sleep a little more? So there will always be this lag phase in your day if you're not planning. As Donald said, think ahead. Don't let the day-to-day operations drive out the planning. Many a times people tell me, Vidya, I've been planning and, I've tried to make a schedule, and then something cropped up, and then, I could not follow my schedule. I had to do that. And then again, the next day, something else happened. Then this work which you have planned will actually pile up. And when anything piles up, you feel very difficult to do the job. So they say, break the complex job into simpler job or the tasks and complete each of the tasks. And then you would see that the entire big job is done. So it's not about a better time management, friends. It's actually about self-management. As I began the lecture, I told you that it is how I am going to, work myself up so that I can actually start working on that 24 hours gifted to me. So the productivity tip here is schedule everything, not just the meetings. By creating blocks of time, you're less likely to feel the temptation of distraction. Distraction is something which all of us need to have a kind of a self-control on it. And this self-control would come only from disciplining yourself. And this discipline would come only when you schedule and plan yourself. So I'm going to show you some of the charts today, which I follow. And I follow this as I told you, I've been following this for the last 26 years. So it is not like one day I did it and then the other day I did not. And consistently, since I've been following, I've been getting extremely, good results. So how do I plan my day? If you have to say, all of us know we have a 7-day week. We have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we have a 24-hour day. So we say you need about 8 hours for good sleep. So I've blocked out the 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. So that is around 8 hours. And then I assume that we get up at 6 and till 8 a.m. So what do I do from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m.? So I write it down. It might be probably, just getting up, brushing our teeth and having a wash and probably doing some exercise, maybe catching up with the news, maybe some things like that. I request somebody to kindly switch off your audio. It is disturbing the recording and the lecture. Thank you for understanding. So 6 to 8 a.m. would be that. Now, 8 to 10, maybe having breakfast, maybe it would be preparing for the day. Sometimes it could be, getting ready for a college class or it might be getting ready for some exam, some things like that. 10 to 12 noon, I don't know your schedule. So you need to actually plan this up and work from 10 to again 10 in the night. So like this, I have put a 2-hour slots. And these 2-hour slots are very, very, very important. And this is so very important that we need to understand that this is the way we need to work it out. Next is, what is your weekly worksheet? Now, there are generally 4 weeks in a month. Some months have about 5 weeks. So, we have to understand this exactly and then, move our days. So, see, for a month, you have a weekly sheet and you say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then you have each of these weeks. And I generally plan my month this way. Whenever Dr. Shankaran asks me for the dates, when I have to give lectures on a particular day, I block these dates so that, there's no overlapping. And sometimes the same day I have even 2 lectures, which means I'll again check if it is the times are clashing. So this is how we need to actually work out our weekly worksheet. So I'm talking in terms of me. Now you have to work it in terms of you, what work you have and how you're committed. So when I block these times, I actually block my time in two different ways. One is the work wherein I am responsible for somebody else. And then there are work which I'm responsible for myself. So this lecture, I'm responsible because it's not only my time, it is also each of your time and all of us coming together at the same time at this particular day. But then there are so many other work where I don't have to be dependent on your time. So that I can be a little flexible, right? Next is, what is your monthly worksheet? So monthly worksheet is Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So that's your year for you. And then in that you have some highlights. Now, when you look back in the month of July, what were your highlights of the month? Now that is very important. So to understand the highlights, you should know what special you have done in each month. Now, I can't describe that for you. I generally do this and I see what was so special about the last month. And, I try to work backwards and forwards. So this is something, a kind of a roadmap. When I look at the end of the year, say December 31st, I look back at the entire year and I say, good job, Vidya, you've done something great this year, So you feel a kind of a satisfaction when you start putting things like this in your charts. And honestly to God, it has helped me, maximize and do a lot of things. Especially when as an academician, I'm an academician too. So when I work in colleges and then I write a lot of articles. I'm talking about the scientific articles in terms of dentistry and psychotherapy. So when I do those jobs, I see how many of my articles have got published in that year, and I see how many of them are indexed, and then how many of them have got international acclaim and things like that. So it is very important for me to have a kind of a yearly lookout for that entire year, every month, how I plan my month. So, at the end of the year, you should really feel that you've done and you've achieved something. Next is your yearly worksheet. Now, when I talk about the yearly, I really understand that, all of us know that even the government has something called a 5-year plan, right? So we should also have a 5-year plan for ourselves. You might ask me, ma'am, right now it's the pandemic and we don't know what's happening even tomorrow. Why are you thinking about 5 years from today? See, with pandemic or without pandemic, haven't we crossed this 1.5 years? I know it's a very tough question to answer, right? So then imagine, how is it going to be different in the next months or weeks to come? So the day is just going to go by. Until and unless you plan yourself for every single year, you will have nothing fulfilled. So you should at least have 5 solid dreams to finish by this 2021. I don't know them. Put it on your priority list. Dream 1, this I should accomplish this year. And these dreams should be emotional. It should make you cry. It should be so close to your heart that if you don't do this, you will not be happy from within. It should be something which is much more than just getting appreciation or something like that. It should be very heartfelt. It should be very, very emotional. See, when you see all these Olympic champions or anybody who has achieved maybe some beauty pageants, and when they go up and when they are called the Miss Universe or Miss India or whatever that can be, they have tears of joy coming out. And why do you think it is tears of joy? It's actually happiness, right? Why should they cry then? It's because of the hard work they have put to make that happen. It's like a dream come true for them. Now, I don't know if you all understand what I'm trying to say, but for me, every year I have to fulfill at least 5 of my emotional dreams. Otherwise, there's nothing much to look forward in life. It is not about I came into this world and I went away one day. It is that dash in between which defines how well you have lived each day. So I will not say like, you have to live long, but then you have to do something enough every day that you live. If you look at Swami Vivekananda, he died at the age of 32, 33. If you look at Subramani Bharatiyar, he died again very early. He died in his 30s. So imagine if we just had that much of life in us. How is it that people would want to remember you? Even today, Swami Vivekananda is known so much, is revered so much. His speeches are, spoken about. His quotes are quoted here and there. Subramani Bharatiyar, I don't even have to say. Why do you have to leave a footprint like this? Now, it is up to those people who really wanted to make a change in their life. So please understand, my dear friends, this worksheet, yearly worksheet, has to be so emotional that you need to write it down. You need to put it down in words, and you have to achieve it. If any of you sitting on this platform have any doubts on this, you can ping me and I will be there to guide you, to help you, to mentor you, to see that your dreams come true. And I'm going to be there for you. I promise on that. So time management requires self-discipline, self-mastery, and self-control more than anything else. So you need to discipline. And once you have all this done, you will feel like, oh, I need to get it done. There are no two ways about it then. So this is the Eisenhower matrix to tell you how to make decisions on what's urgent and important. So urgent and important, it is the task you need to do it. Not urgent, but important, you can plan on it. Not important, but urgent, you can delegate it. And not important and not urgent, you can eliminate it or probably put it for a later date. And what do you say are urgent and important? It could be some crisis management, some emergency, some pressing problems, some deadline-driven projects, and last-minute preparations. Not urgent and important could be some preparation, planning, preventions, values and clarifications, capability and improvement, relationship building, true recreation and relaxation. Not important, but urgent. Those could be some interruptions, some callers, some mails, some meetings, many pressing matters, and popular activities. I told you that's how I put those sand in that, right? And last but not the least is not important, not urgent, is it busy work, trivial activities, some calls, emails, escape activities, and time wasters. So that's how you need to plan what it is. So once you have your to-do list, then it is very important to understand what is delayed gratification. Now, when you write to-do list, you have to have a lot of faith that you're not going to do that job. It should not be like I'll write 100 work in a day and let me see how I'll finish. Not that way. When you write it, you should believe that you will be able to work on it. So make your new habits so easy that you can't say no. I'm sure many of you might not feel like this is something like a second skin to you. So start something which is very small and improve just one thing by just 1% and do it again tomorrow. Use the same field strategy to maintain consistency and find a way to get started in less than 2 minutes. Don't keep thinking about it, but just get into action, just like your 2-minute noodles. So what is the same field method? It is like, once you finished one job, you cross it, you keep doing it. And then when you look back, you feel happy that you've been able to do it. And that is how you start with something very small. Now we said just one thing every day or 1% improvement. So let's see 1 to the power of 365 days is just 1. But imagine 1.01 into the same 365 days is equal to 37.7% better than what you were last year. So doing nothing at all versus small consistent effort is definitely going to give you success, because success does not lie in the results, but in the effort. Being the best is not so important. Doing the best is all that matters. And you should start doing and working the business. Keep a checklist. So you have the 31 days of the month. I've just put 31 because this month has 31 days. You can put it, have a chart like this so that you can have it for all the months. And then you have the 12 months in a year. And just put a tick for yourself if that day you have completed around, say, the work. Now, otherwise, you can also give yourself percentage of marks. Like you can say, I did 70% today, I did 60. And then you just look at how many things you got more than about 80 or 90. And then you can keep improving yourself and, get better. Maybe for some, it might start with 30s and 40% only. But then after a few days, once you make it as a habit, you can see how best you have done to keep this checklist going. So this would be an entire month and a year planner, which will help you understand through the scene field method how you can actually monitor yourself. So what are the reasons why people fail? They don't have a to-do list. They don't set personal goals. They have no priorities. They don't know how to manage distractions. They procrastinate. They take up too many tasks without any planning. There is no breaks. They say, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So there's no breaks in between for them. There's no variety, I would say that. No upgradation based on milestone results. How do you know milestones? I told you about the dreams, right? And ineffectively scheduling the task. So you just do something here and there and try to finish up. That does not work. What are the 12 most effective time management principles? So determine what is urgent. I told you how to find that. Don't overcommit. Don't kill yourself. Have a plan for your time and allow time for the unexpected. Handle things once and create realistic deadlines. Set goals for yourself and your time. Develop routines. Focus only one thing at a time. Eliminate or minimize distractions. Outsource tasks or delegate, and leaves time for fun and play. Very important to have a holistic way of life. Don't kill yourself, okay? So before I end the lecture, I want to give you 10 time management skills which you need. And this would be like pointers for you. So you start planning, prioritizing, goal setting, decision-making, focus, self-awareness, self-motivation, delegating, deal with your stress, and organizing. Most of us understand about habits, right? So we say, you have to have a cue and then you set it as a routine and then make it as a habit and then it goes as a reward and then you keep going on and on because this is something which you need to do and make that one positive change. And how is a habit formed? We say a bit and then it, then a bit and then habit. So that's what they say. You need at least 7 days to make it bit and 21 days to make it a habit. And what are these 4 stages of habit? You have the cue, the craving to do it, the response you would get, and the reward. So as Ben Yagoda said, the key is using repetition deliberately, consciously, and strategically. You must be wondering, the bus driver in a Pallavan transport, how does he drive the same route every single day? So repetitive, right? I can't say the same of the bus conductor. At least he's getting to meet so new people. He has different money exchange going on. But the driver, he's all by himself. Just the road and the steering wheel and the clutch and the accelerator. He just have to keep going in. And that's it. Nobody to talk to. He can't get distracted because so many people's lives are on him. But then how does he do it? So it is repetition. And that is what is going to give you success. You will never find time for anything if you want time. You must make it. This is what Charles Bruxton said. And the time is now, my dear friends. You need to just barge into your day and just hold on and get moving. I'm going to tell you how my day is for the first 24 hours. Success does not lie in multitasking, but in practicing mindfulness when you are at work. So I don't believe in doing 100 things at the same time, but I like to space my time so that I can do 100 things in one particular day. So with that, my lecture gets done for time management. My number is 98401-76088, and you can follow me on social media. If you have any questions, I'll be there on the other side to answer. Thank you for a patient listening and ready for your questions.
Thank you, Dr. Vidyaa. Maybe we would expect some questions from the audience. If you have anything to ask to the speaker, you can either ask your questions directly or you can put it in the chat box.
Hi, Abhijit. Tell me.
The thing is, I plan, I prioritize, I do that hourly, daily, maybe weekly, and it goes on. It can monthly. So like that I'm doing, and I'd like to hear much more about having yearly goals and 5-year goals from your side. That's the first question. Second question is eliminating the non-priorities. So we know what are time wasters, and we try our best to distance us from those time wasters. But sometimes we just want to relax and get on to them, and it is bit refreshing, relaxing. So we hold on to them, and it keeps dragging. And I'd like to have some suggestions in dealing with that too. So these are the two questions.
Can you just repeat the first question? Do you want to know more about yearly planning? Is that what you asked?
Yes, yearly plans and 5-year plans. Yeah.
Okay. First of all, Abhijit, thank you for the question. You need to understand that first we need to understand ourselves better. How do we want to see ourselves at the end of the year? How do we want to see ourselves 5 years from today? Now, this is something which is very personal. For somebody, it might be a different goal. And for me, it might be a different goal. So I can't specifically tell for you. But since it's a general platform, I will just give you some suggestions, which I generally do it for students when they come to me. So understanding that I'm talking to TANUVAS students who are on a 5-year program. Now, I would just first like to see who are the toppers. Now, what have they done in the next 5 years of their life? And I had spoken to Dr. Shankaran, I guess sometime in February, March, when I had come on an offline program. And Dr. Shankaran had told me many of his alumni students are coming back to the college because they have achieved something great in life, right? And I hope that program did go through, and the students came, and they had achieved in various formats. Now, this is what is going to help me plan my yearly and my 5-yearly one. So imagining that that person has become an IAS or an IPS or whatever, I would first want to know how it is that they feel being an IPS or an IAS or whatever. And what are their roles? How did they make it there? How much more they had to study? how much time they had to invest in that extra studies they needed to do. What was their goals and have they achieved it, and how they feel about it right now. So these are people who have actually trailed on that pathway. Now, if my interest is also after veterinary science to get into an IAS or an IPS or whatever, and they have already done it, now I have somebody to mentor me. So then I would first want to know what all they did. Generally, if you have a 10th standard or a 12th standard child who's taking up an exam, they will do that for the previous year's 12th standard topper. They would ask them, or probably listen to their interview, and they would say, oh, I studied for 15 hours and, I went for a tuition and I did this and, things like that. If you ask PV Sindhu, she said she's not into social media, no cell phone for 6 months. And that's how she achieved what she achieved. So there, you cannot have the cake and eat it too. I mean, that is not just going to happen. You need to understand your time stealers. You need to understand what extra effort you need to put. So this is what or how you would plan your year. Now, 5 years would give you the exact thing what you want to do after that 5 years. If you ask me personally, did I do all this when I was a student? My answer is a no. It was absolutely not that. I just took one day at a time. I did that year's job, but I was a very good student. Out of 18 subjects, I got a topper in 11 subjects in my college. So I was good. After that, because see, those days, not so much of exposure was there. But then after that, there are two ways you can learn. One is you go through and you learn yourself, or learn from others. Learning from others is very easy. So when I started looking at people, I said, oh, this is the way you have to write articles. Then I said, okay, let me start writing articles, because I wanted to write articles. Now, this is something, then I asked them, how do you write it? How does this idea come into your mind? What do you do? When you read, do you find something exciting? So then I said, okay, I'll have a goal of writing 5 articles in 1 year. And then I made it. I felt very nice about myself. Then I said, can I make it more? And then I know how much of time I need to invest on that. So it depends on whichever area you want to do. I'm another person. I feel every year I need to learn new. 2020 help you very well in understand what exactly you want to work on. Now, why 5-year plan? As I told you, it gives you an understanding whether you are on the right path. After 5 years, you should not think, I'm in a course different. Just imagine you take a scale and draw a straight line. Okay? And then draw another line at a vertical 90 degrees. Now, just make 1 degree change. Instead of 90, just make 1 degree change and make it 89 degrees and draw a line. And then 88, and then see it is totally tangential. So imagine a building. The first floor is 90, second floor is built at 89. Ground floor is 90, first floor is 89, second floor is 88, third floor is 87. From outside, when you see the line, it will not be straight. It will be leaning. So if I'm going to change even 1% from this plan, I would not reach the destination where I want to be. So if my destination is clear, I would know the exact pathway that I need to go. So that is why you need to have a 5-year plan. And from the 5-year plan, you get into that yearly plan. From that yearly plan, you get into a monthly plan. And then you plan your daily, a weekly first, then daily, then hourly. So it is keeping the end in mind. You go backwards and then come to that particular day. It is not from this day, 5 years later. You think today what you want to do 5 years later, and then bring it closer. If I have to explain it in a very simple language, if I have to travel from here to Trichy, and if I say I'm going to see Trichy from my house right now, only then I will travel, I should be stupid. Correct? I should know that this road leads to Trichy. That's all. First thing what I need to follow is get out from my house. I will get out from my house only when I know the place where I am in. But I know my destination is Trichy. So I need to maneuver myself and understand 5 years later if I have to go there, I need to know where there is, trail backwards, find out where I am, and then trail forwards. So I hope I answered your question. The second question was on Abhijit. I'm sorry, I forgot that.
The second question is non-priorities. We tend to hold
Okay,
on.
I got it. So the non-priorities I told you, I mean, as I was talking about this, now you can't have the cake and eat it too. Definitely it's not going to happen. You need to sacrifice something. That is what is called delayed gratification. And I explained that in the slides also. You need to understand that you need to put hold on certain things in life if you want to get something better. And delayed gratification is definitely much more rewarding, internally satisfying, because it makes you more unique. I don't believe in number one. I believe in being unique. Now, that uniqueness you will get only when you do something different. And what is that different? It is a pathway you choose today. So I hope I've answered your question.
Dr. Vidya, I can see in the chat box from Dr. Selvaraj. We has put.
Okay.
You want me to read it for you?
No, I'll read it. So, yes, Dr. Selvaraj, just give me a second.
We plan very well, but we abandon.
Very well, but we abandon the habit after some time. Is this because of psychology of human or not so serious about time? How to overcome this defect of mind? Very good question, Dr. Selvaraj. If you're planning very well and you're abandoning the habit, it means it is not your emotional dream. If it is your emotional dream, you don't need planning at all. I'll give you one example. You're watching a movie and there is a child inside and the hero is trying to break open that door to save that child inside. Now, does he plan how he is going to save the child? Is he reading some books and knowing how to break the door? For him, it is his child inside. That's emotional for him. He knows if he does not do that job, the child will not make it. And he cannot feel that pain. He leaves no stone unturned to get that child out. That is his emotional dream. You don't need to plan so much. You need to put it into action. It is action time then. He does not see the glass. He does not see the wood. That is a beautiful, true story of a very thin, frail lady whose child goes under the truck wheel. And this lady carried the entire truck and saved that child of hers. Nobody believed. Nobody believed. But it is a mother's instinct to get that child out. So then they wanted to recreate it. It's a world record. It's there in the Guinness World of World Records. They recreated the scene again. And she did it again. When the emotion is so high, nothing really matters. Another story. There were two boys and they're very good friends. But they have an age difference. One is 5 and one is 8. But they're very good friends. Both of them go out to play. And as they are playing in the garden, they come across a small area which is suddenly covered with a lot of things. So curiosity tells them, and they go closer to that, and the elder boy falls down in the ditch. They did not realize it was actually a ditch, and people had kept the bricks and just the leaves over that so that nobody should go there. Now this small child, 5-year-old, is looking at his friend who's 8-year-old, bigger, taller, heavier, maybe even stronger than him, but got into the pit. Now he's thinking, how am I going to save this friend of mine? And he saves his friend because his emotion was so high. Because you and I were not there to go and tell that small child, he can't do it, that guy is heavier. We are all so fine-tuned by people around us. You can't do it. You are not worth it. You are not fit for it. No. These are the negative words the world has told us. Don't do that. But the same people, when we were starting to learn how to walk, and we fell 100 times, they said, come on, walk. They did that till we were 1 year old. And after that, things change. So to answer the question, is it human mind? Human mind has something called neuroplasticity. If I have to talk about science. And this neuroplasticity is that every day, if you're going to put in positivity into your brain, in a few years' time, your entire cell of your brain gets recharged and rewired. And this is truth. This is science I'm saying. So it's up to you to understand what you want to program yourself with. I can't do it or I can do it. And the moment you program yourself with you can do it every single time with the same amount of belief and the trust in your hard work, you will be able to do it. There is nothing impossible. It says, I am possible. That is what is impossible. So when you are actually planning, if it is with an emotional dream in mind, you will do it come what may. Otherwise, it is called a wishful thinking. You just wished for it to happen. If you did not get it, it is okay. You tried. That's what you will say. But that is not what it is. Try till you succeed. That is the answer. So it is nothing to do with human. It is to do with self. Each of us, it is up to us. It is up to us to make that change. Lokesh, I can see your hand up. I want you to unmute and ask.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Lokesh.
Thanks for the presentation and your pleasant words, ma'am.
Thank you.
My question is, we have planned everything. We have planned properly, but initially we can't get 100% of outcome. We do 30%, 40%, but some of us are stressed themselves about I'm not doing completely. I'm not doing completely. It's a normal thing, but how to overcome it, ma'am?
Very good. So now you have planned, you have it, and you have done 30%, 40%, and then you want to come to the 100%. See, there are some habits which we need to cultivate, and then we need to hone it better. Now let's see how we wrote A, B, C, D, E, and when we were probably 3 years old. And is it the same way you write it today? No, right?
No, ma'am.
So what happens when you wrote that time? Your A might have crossed on the top. This line would have gone a little out. It's okay. Practice makes a man perfect. Start with 30%, but don't give up on yourself. Never give up. Never ever give up. Always keep bettering yourself. That is why I showed you that yearly chart. In the yearly chart, very important for you to know. You have to put that percentage. I told you even when I was taking the class, I said you should put percentage. So that will help you understand. If you're 30, you know you've not done enough. See, you should evaluate yourself, and only then you will get the best out of you. If you are going to be very relaxed with yourself, you're not going to be a thing. I told you once, you need to be like the duck, right? Very calm and composed outside, but inside it should be like fire. Fire. Till you get your job done. You have to be so much goal focused. That's the way to make it happen. That's the only way to make it happen. Okay? So if you are doing it and not doing it enough, keep doing it till you do it to the best of your capabilities. And then have somebody who has done it to guide you. That is another important thing. You need somebody better than you to course correct you. It is not always like you are right. Maybe they will fine tune your work. I have mentors in all my fields. Okay. I have mentors. It is not like I do everything by myself. If you ask me, ma'am, you're talking about all this 26 years back. 26 years back, did you do it the right way? Answer is big no. 26 years back, I was also 10%, 20, 30. That's what I was. But then I never gave up on myself. Today, I can tell you, my chart is anything above 85. I am telling you myself. But it was not so many days back, many years back.
Keep doing
now it's
is
all
important.
about 80 plus. Yes, yes, yes.
Keep doing is important.
Doing is important. That is what I'm trying to say. How well you do it, you will get to that better. You think all these people who, ran for the Olympics, they were very good champions when they were born out of their mother's stomach?
No.
So we need to understand they also had their pitfalls, but they never gave up on themselves. They always worked better so that they could really, get the best out of their work. And always appreciate yourself for the small milestones you create for yourself. Very important.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome. Okay, appreciate yourself. Next day, going to be the one. Yeah. We have to choose the wise who can guide us, but guidance definitely helps. True, Chandra, true. It's very important that, we need to find mentors in that particular field. Now, suppose I'm going to talk about fitness. Now, I need to have a person who's fit and who's doing that job every single day. Only that person can teach me. Then I can't say my parents are only the best. Correct? If my parents are athletes, then they are the best. If they are not, that is why I had told you this long time back. I don't know how many of you attended that lecture of mine. I said the difference between a teacher, a coach, and a mentor. You remember? I don't know if I'm talking to that same group who attended that program. So a teacher is a person who just teaches. It's somebody like who teaches in college also or in school. If you ask them, did they write that textbook in economics or that book in science? They will say no. Somebody has written, they're just teaching you. That's a teacher. They might have not done it. You can ask the people who teach MBA. MBA is what? Master of Business Administration. If you go and ask that person, do you own a business? Are you doing a business? They'll say no. That means they're just teaching. They have not done it. So that is a teacher. Next is a coach. Who is a coach? A person who has done it and then he is teaching it. That is a coach. But who is a mentor? For the Indian cricket team, who is the coach? Ravi Shastri, right? But who is a mentor? Sachin Tendulkar. Virat Kohli's mentor is Sachin Tendulkar. How? Because he has done it. He has made it for himself. He is, the person in terms of cricket for us, right? And that is how Virat Kohli is able to achieve better. So you should know a person who's a teacher, who's a coach, and who's a mentor. You need to choose your mentors in that particular field you want to excel. That's why I told you, if somebody is coming as an IAS, then you wait and find out if that person can coach you or mentor you. Sometimes they can do both. So that is how you need to find the right kind of people. It just doesn't happen that way. You have to really put your heart, body, mind, soul, everything in unison to that. That is what yoga is all about. Yoga is actually bringing a unison of the entire body together. Many a times when there is a conflict of the mind and the body, that's when you can't achieve anything. So I guess I have answered all the questions on the chat box. Any other questions or hand raises, then we will talk on that.
I think that's it, Dr. Vidyaa. I think you've answered everything and you have also read through most of the things in the chat box. Thank you so much once again on behalf of IDP of TANUVAS. And we have another session coming up this week. So we will get back with you with that topic this weekend. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you, sir, so much for your kind words and for your invitation. Truly, I'm having a whale of time talking to all of you. And thank you to Dr. John, Dr. Selvaraj, Dr. Sendil Kumar, I guess, for joining us. And it really makes us feel so special. Thank you so much to the other faculty also. If I have not mentioned your name, I probably have not seen you right now. So thank you so much. Thank you, delegates, for joining in, and we'll meet on Thursday.
Thank you.